All right, so welcome to our online business seminar. My name is Sackitey. Um, so this is a business influencer network, and then we are having this 3 days online business seminar. So this is actually the first day. So just to jump on, today being the first day, we'll be handling productivity tips and tips for business leaders. And then if we have time, we'll take on building an online portfolio for yourself as a business leader. Then on Friday, we'll be handling social media marketing and then Forex trading. So we'll be doing an introduction to Forex trading. And then on Saturday, we'll do business growth and development and then banking, finance, and investment. So I would like to introduce my presenters and briefly, then we begin the session. So I have Brother Francis, therefore, who will be presenting on Saturday. Yeah, so I think we can't see you, so you have to turn on your video if it's possible, then introduce yourself and what you do. So you just have to introduce yourself, what you do.
Okay. Thank you, sir, once again for the opportunity. Sorry, I'm still in the office. I'm Bra Francis, therefore. And then
Okay,
basically, I'll be taking the banking, finance, and investment session of
okay,
the
so
training program.
all right, great, great. That'll be on Saturday. I think
Yes, sir.
Brother Selam is trying to speak on his mic. So I would like to use this opportunity before we begin. I'd like to use this opportunity to thank our esteemed President Desmond for this great platform to be able to lead other young people and then connect with other business leaders. So I'll begin I'm taking the first session today, and I'll be handling productivity tips and tools for non-profits, or sorry, for business leaders, basically. And so there are other presenters will be jumping off because they have to attend other meetings, and then they'll handle their session from tomorrow. So when any of them jump into the meeting, I'll introduce them. All right, thank you so much. So Brother Francis, you can actually jump off to your meeting, and anyone that connects, I will
Okay.
just introduce them. Thank you so much. But if you still want to stay
Thank you,
behind, you can
sir.
stay behind.
Yeah, I think I'm using multiple links, so I will still be listening
Okay,
while
okay,
in the other.
okay. So
Okay, no question.
we'll begin briefly. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to be the facilitator for this session, and then this session will be handling uh, productivity tools and tips for business leaders. So, as a young entrepreneur starting out, you have to do a lot of things. You'd have to combine work, your personal life, ministry. So, there are ways that you can actually be able to become productive and not waste too much time on a particular task. So you can do a lot of things and be productive at all of them. Yeah. So by the end of this session, you should be able to um, take away some tips and tools that you can use to um, balance your professional and then personal life. All right, so by the end of this session, we'll be handling an introduction to productivity for a business leader. So, as a business leader, how can you be productive at whatever you do? How can you be able to um, do a lot of things at the same time? How can you be able to engage your audience? How can you be able to maybe it could be in a lot of businesses, because young people have so many things they are doing. Entrepreneurship, they have a career, they are effective in ministry, especially for us in the Lagos nation, in Lagos Nest. Okay, so we'll also be taking some productivity tips. So I'll be exposing you to some tips or some things you can do to become productive as a business leader. And then I will show you some tools or technologies that I can use to manage your time wisely and be an effective leader. And then I'll give you some management tips. And then in conclusion, we'll take some questions and answers. All right, so first of all, someone might ask, what is productivity? Um, Productivity is relative. It means different things to different people at different levels. So um, productivity is an act. Okay, yeah, it's productivity is an act of managing your time and tasks within a reasonable time frame so as to accomplish more and get more done. So the key word is that you're managing, you're minimizing or maximizing your time and task within a reasonable time frame. So you have a specific duration to do something. How can you be able to effectively manage those tasks, manage those assignments, and get more done? So that is productivity. So within a specific, a reasonable time frame, how can you be able to manage everything that you do? So to go straight, we'll be jumping into some of the tips or things that you can do to become productive. So some of the things that you can engage in, some of the activities that you can take to become productive. So the first thing will be what then is a productivity tip. So tips are like actions. So action points like, okay, productivity means maximizing my tasks and then getting more done within a reasonable time frame. So I want to be able to do three things: combine ministry, combine my career, and then combine my personal life and be productive at all of them at the same time. So what are some of the things that I need to do? What or some of the actions I need to take to be able to become productive? So the first thing is note taking. So to become productive, you need to take notes. You need to write down things. You need to write down your ideas. Things come to you every day. You get inspiration at a place of prayer, and then you take action. So you are inspired to take action, and you receive inspiration when you are meditating on God's word. That's what Pastor always tells is that whenever you are praying, you should have a notepad and a pen with you. You should have a writing material with you. That means God also expects you to write when He talks to you. He doesn't just expect you to listen to what He's saying to you. He expects you to write down what He's telling you, so that you remember it at the right time. The Bible says, write down the vision, make it plain. So that means anyone that takes that particular notebook, anyone that takes that particular note, the person might know what action or how to run with that assignment. So the first thing is note taking. And I said, as a business leader or entrepreneur, you have to take a lot of you have a lot of goals and goals to achieve. And the first thing is to not burden your mind with all that needs to be done. So you don't have to be bothering yourself about, okay, I need to do this and that, because as a Christian, inspirations come to you every day, ideas come to you every day, and as a goal-oriented leader, so many things come to you. You get inspiration from your environment, you get inspiration from um, at the place of prayer. So you need to write down as soon as you get an inspiration, just put it down. So you have. I do this almost every time. I carry a memo with me everywhere I go to write things down. Inspirations come to me every day, and I write them down. So you have to learn the culture of taking notes. So, and in summary, you need to write down everything that you need to do. The next thing is to have a to-do list. So what is a to-do list? So a to-do list is a routine thing or a list of tasks that you yearn to achieve. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I have to do certain things. I have to undertake certain assignments. So I need to create a to-do list. And then you should make your to-do list very short. You shouldn't have a lot of things on your to-do list. So a to-do list it's just like a checklist of things that you want to do. Let's say one, I want to um, learn a new language, or I want to spend time to pray. So these are things that you can put on your to-do list. So I want to pray maybe at least 4 hours every day, or at least 3 hours every day. So to be able to achieve those things, you have to put them on a to-do list so that when you do them, you check them out. And as I said, you need to make your to-do list simple. It doesn't have to be bulky or a lot. All right, so the next thing is to use tickler files. Okay, this might look a bit not technological. So what's a tickler file? It's a 43 file system. So you have 43 files or folders. So 31 of them are labeled the days of the month. So first, second, up to 31. And then 12 of them are labeled the month of the year. So January, February, March to December. So you have those 43 files, and then you arrange them. You arrange them down, and then this helps you to do things that you don't want to remember. So something you want to do maybe tomorrow. So you put the days in front and then the months behind. So let's say if today is 28th of April, so the first folder on the stack will be 29th of April. 28th of April will be in front of next month's. So you arrange them the days first and then the months follow. So meaning you might have taken April to the back of the stack. Now and then you have taken today's date to the back of the month. So the first month will now be the month after April, which is May. So now that will go behind 27th and in front of next month. So if you have maybe you want to pay bills, you have a receipt that you received that you want to attend to maybe on a particular day, you put that particular file into that folder so that each day before the end of the day, when you take that particular day's thing, you know that okay, tomorrow I need to pay my water bill, tomorrow I need to renew my business certificate. So as things come to you, you put them on in each folder. So you have to keep a tickler file. It's very simple, just about getting folders and then writing the months and then the days on them. It helps a lot. So I have here create a tickler file for every project or initiative you strive to achieve. A tickler file is traditionally contains a 43 division, one for each of the, as I said, 31 days of the month. So you label the months on the days and then you label the months on each folder. So that makes you become productive and you don't seem to forget things. So when you pick tomorrow's folder, everything in there are things that you might have planned to do some days and might have just kept the document in there. So you can even use memos to do those reminders. Maybe I want to someday learn how to or I want to read a particular book, or I want to listen to a particular message, then I'll write the title of that message and then put it in that folder. So when I pick that particular day's folder, I know that, okay, I had said to myself that I will do so and so on this particular day. So it becomes like a reminder system. Okay. So the next thing is to store inspirations. Like I said at the beginning, the Lord talks to us every day. We get inspiration at a place of prayer. We get inspiration when we do things every day. So you have to store your inspiration. When inspirations come to you, you don't just keep them in your head because you might forget, or you don't forget, but it might skip you, and you might not be able to do it because you have not stored it. So once an idea comes to you, you store it. So in a subsequent session where we are dealing with the tools, we'll be handling um, where to store some of this, or what tools you store some of these inspirations. So I said, create a place to store inspiration. Use an app to store inspirations that come to you along in the day. That's in the day-to-day execution. So every day something comes to your mind, you just write it down. So you become very effective. You become very effective because everything that comes to you, you have a place for it. So so that means you have an always inspired person. All right, so now the next thing you're going to handle is, now you now know, okay, that these are some of the things I need to do. I need to take notes. I need to store my inspiration. I need to keep a particular file. So after you have all these things in place, the next thing is to use certain tools to do these activities. So what are some of the productivity tools that you can use? Um, so I'm going to give you 4 tools. We have Evernote. So Evernote is a mobile app. So we have the mobile version and the desktop version. So you can install it on your Android phone, your iOS devices, your laptop. So it's a tool that helps you to take notes. So like I said, you need to take notes. So what are some of the tools that can use to take notes? You need to schedule activities. You need to have a to-do list. So what are some of the tools you can use to do that? So Evernote is one effective and productive tool that you can use to do this thing. Another thing is Trello. So Trello is basically a to-do list app. So it helps you set assignments. So you can use it to design a lot of things. Maybe you have a project you are running, you have a team you're working with. You can collaborate with your team on Trello. So it's also a software, a web application, and then mobile applications. Then we have Pocket. So Pocket is um, basically a browser-based application. So maybe you are surfing the web and you see a link, you see a website that you want to refer to. You might not, you don't want to be opening a lot of tabs down on your laptop. So the best thing to do is to save those things in Pocket. So it's we have extensions. So we have something called Chrome extensions, or whatever browser you're using has extensions. So you with Pocket, you're able to store all those links and then refer back to them when you need them. Then another tool that I use mostly is Calendly. So Calendly is an appointment booking software. So it allows you to schedule meetings. So to become very productive, because one, people take your time, people require your time. So you set up a calendar. So you set up 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 90 minutes meetings links. So the times that you are available, you open up your calendar so that before you set it up, you block the day. So when someone wants to have a meeting with you, you just send them your Calendly link. So when they open the link, they know the time you are available. So they can just call you that, I want you to do this for me, or can you help me do this? So you just send them that link, and then they know that, okay, you are available at this time to this time. So they can book that time, and then you get notified that, okay, someone wants to have a meeting with you on this platform. So you will also set your own platform that you want to make. Maybe I want to use Zoom, I want to use Teams, Microsoft Teams, I want to use Google. So you know what? Or I want to use a live location or a live event. So whenever someone wants to meet you for an appointment or anything, You just have to click on that link that you have set up, that, and then they know that, okay, on Monday to Friday, you're not available from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you don't take meetings at that time. So you are occupied. So this kind of increase your productivity. So people don't just call you to set up meetings with you. All right, so let me give a bit of management tips finally, and then we'll wrap this session. So the first thing to the first step to managing your time is to get started. So everything that you want to do, the first thing is to start. If you don't start, you can't start. So you have to first of all take the first initiative. Bible says you need to be diligent. To be able to do things, you have to add diligence. Diligence is what comes first before even faith. So you need to be very diligent. I want to do this. You start now. So the first thing is, once an instructions comes to you, you start now. You really start before you think about the action or the instruction. So once you are given an instruction, you just start before you even think about whether you are capable of doing it or not. And that is a feature of very effective and productive people. And then the next thing is to create a time study. So a time study, it's kind of like a habit monitoring system. So you monitor how you spend your time every day. So I do that a lot, usually at the beginning of the year, to know what is taking my time most. I think I have a strategy that will be sharing at the latter part of this presentation. But what I do every morning is, when I wake up at um, 4 a.m., I know what I'm doing from 4 a.m. to maybe 6 a.m. Then what I'm doing from 6 a.m. to so I time myself and write them down. So I know that, okay, at the end of the day, I'm spending too much time on this, I'm spending too much time on this, and I'm having too much time, and I'm not doing a lot of things I need to do. So I need to be very effective. So you have to have a time. You might not need a time study throughout the year, but you use at the beginning of the year to know how to structure better. So you create a time study to monitor how you spend your time every day. Log every task you undertake for business, for others, and for your personal self. So everything you do, if even having lunch, you take that. Okay, you start taking your lunch at, let's say, 12 p.m. and then by the time you finish eating, it was 1:30. So meaning you spent an hour and 30 minutes on lunch. So you log it down that you have to be very sincere and um, real. So 12 p.m. to 1:30 is what I spent eating lunch on Thursday. So you log that time down, that okay, you spent 1 hour 30 minutes eating lunch. That is not effective. So when you do those things and you do it for a week and you still realize that you spend the same 1 hour 30 minutes, 1 hour 2 hours eating lunch, you realize that that is a habit you have that you have to stop. So then the next thing you should take steps to avoid that habit. So the first thing is to get started. The next thing is to create a time study. So you create a time study about the things you do every day. Monitor your time. Account for every minute of your 24 hours each day. And the next thing is to assess problems. So assess your problem areas to see what facts might be taking the greater part of your time and why. So you ask yourself, now you've done a time study. So you assess, okay, what now? Why am I spending 1 hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 1 hour to eat lunch, for instance? That's a simple you ask, so why do I spend time? Am I a slow eater? Or do I get distracted when I'm eating? Or the kind of food I eat, do I not like it? So you assess the problem and know that, okay, this is the reason why I might be spending too much time eating. because spending an hour and 30 minutes to eat is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So you assess your problem area to see what tasks might be taking the greater part of your time and why. So at the final part of this, I'll be showing you how all these things factors to time, or how all these activities amount to the different levels of time. So we have different levels of time, which I'll be showing after this aspect. So the next thing is to set clear goals. So create clear goals for your personal and professional life, and write down your goals. So you need to set clear goals. Okay. So your goals are about results. And then one thing you need to know is to know this. You don't have to focus on your goals. No, don't focus on your goals. Focus on your systems. So these things that you are doing, assessing the problem areas, creating a time study, these are systems you are creating. Okay, getting started, these are systems you are creating. These are not goals. So goals are the result you want to achieve, but systems are the processes that lead to those results. So so you focus on the systems and not the goals. You might hear people say focus on your goals. No, you focus on your system and not because if you have a working system, you can achieve your goals. Without a working system, so you have to be inside out, not outside in. So your focus shouldn't be set on the outside. Focus should be set on the inside. What do you have in you? What needs to be done? Because when you have substance, you can give out something. So you shouldn't focus on your goals. Focus on the system, the processes that leads to. It's a process that leads to those goals. But because people, most of the time, people in life seems to ignore the process. Someone might be traveling to, let's say, from here to another city. They are throughout the journey, they are not paying attention to what is on the road. They are only paying attention to where they are going. What am I going to do when I get there? Like someone might be thinking, I want to build a business, a multi-national business or a multi-billion-dollar business. That could be a goal. But if you don't focus on the process to achieving that goal, you don't focus on the systems in place. Okay, I need to build a successful business. What do I need to do? I need to work on myself. I need to know more about that industry, that business domain I want to enter. I need to know about that industry I want to put myself into. So you focus on the systems and not just the goal. All right. The next thing is to set objectives. So the next level is objectives. So once you have goals, you have to break those goals into objectives. So objectives are the daily things or the small chunks of your goals. So the small things you do to achieve your goals. So I want to build a multinational or a billion-dollar company. What are some of the objectives? I need to have this number of staff. I need to have this number of things. I need to get this number. I need to have these associations. So set daily, weekly, and monthly objectives throughout the year, and always start your day the night before. So using the systems we described um, at the beginning phase and the tools, or yeah, you don't have to start your day in the morning. No, you start your day the night before. You start your day. So before you enter into, before you are ending the day, you're going to sleep probably. You should plan what you're going to do the next day. So using the tickler file system as an illustration, you have tomorrow's file on top of your tickler file because that particular day's file folder is empty and has been sent to the back. But the current folder that you have contains the things that you want to do that particular day. So when you're going to sleep, you now take that particular folder of that particular day, let's say 29th. So when you open the folder, you know that, okay, I have receipts in there that I need to submit to people. I have memos, I have letters, I have things I need to do in that folder. So you know, and now you now create those things on your to-do list. So when you create those things on your to-do list, before the next day, you know exactly what you're going to do. You know exactly how your day is going to start. So you have to set objectives. These are daily, weekly, and monthly activities throughout the year. Then the last thing is, like I said, you need to be able to manage your time effectively. So time basically has 4 levels. So the first T in time is treasured. The second, which is the I, is investment. The third is mandatory, and the E is empty. So the T stands for treasured, the I stands for investment, the M stands for mandatory, and then the E stands for empty. So time can be treasured, it can be invested, it can be mandatory, and it can be empty. So how you spend your 24 hours falls into this time. So your time can be treasured, your time can be investment, your time can be mandatory, and your time can be empty. So what do you need to do? One, you need to take a lot of treasured times, increase your investment time, and then minimize mandatory time and eliminate empty time. So what are treasured time? So a treasured time could be times that you spend with family. So these are times that are so dear to you. So someone's treasured time could be a vacation. So you do so much preparation towards your treasured time. So times that you spend with loved ones, time that you spend to go out with people, those can be your treasured time. For me, or one of my treasured time is the time I spend in prayer. So the time I have to pray is my treasure time. So I treasure those moments. The time I spend with God, I treasure those moments. And then the next level is your investment times are time that you work. So those times brings you value or brings you returns. So the time you spend doing work that brings you return are your investment, meaning you are investing that time. The first means you are treasuring that time. The next is you are investing that time. And the next level is the mandatory time. These are times you used to do things that you have to do something doesn't mean you need to do it. For instance, you have to do your laundry. Doesn't mean you need to do it. You can delegate that thing. You have to attend a friend's wedding. It's mandatory time. You have to attend it, but you don't need to attend it. So mandatory times they don't bring you any return. They are just things that you need to do. For instance, the time I spend working can be it's an investment time, and the time if I'm not working from home and I'm working from an office, the time I spend to the office, commuting to the office, it's mandatory time because it's mandatory. I need to commute to the office, but I don't need to. I don't. But I don't have to. I can send to work from home. So these are mandatory time. So what that means that you need to increase your investment times and then minimize your empty time. And then the empty times are what it is. They are times you spend doing nothing. So sometimes people can be there, they are not doing anything. Those are time wasted. So you have to try to eliminate those times. Okay, so I have the description here. So everybody needs to go to the higher levels. So that's level 4, which is your treasure time. So times that you hold dear. It says take some now and maximize them for the future. And then we have the investment time. Then time that generates outsized returns. Like I said, the time that you spend to work, the time that you spend that brings you money or that brings you some form of return. So those are your investment time. Then it says increase, prioritize, calendar, and maximize them. So you put them on your calendar so you don't forget. Then we have level 2 time. These are mandatory time. That times that you feel you must spend. So what you need to do is to minimize them or outsource them. You don't need to go and buy food. You can use a delivery service to get food. You don't need to walk to a restaurant to go and eat. You can use a delivery service to get that food from that restaurant. Whatever you might want to go and eat, you can access the menu of the restaurant on your phone and know what they have, and then empty times are times that you spend doing nothing. So those times brings you no value or no return. So you try to eliminate them. So eliminate your empty time. So finally, these are some of key things you need to do. So the key to maximizing happiness and fulfillment is what? Maximizing your treasure time. So fulfillment, I'm fulfilled in the place of prayer. So those are my treasure time. So I need to maximize my treasure time. I need to appreciate, like hold dear my times of prayer. And the key to success in achieving top performance is maximizing your investment time. Because if you do more work or if you do more smart work, you gain more money. If you do more effective work, you gain more money or you get more returns. And then the key to mandatory time is to minimize it or convert it to treasured or investment time. So how is this done? So maybe some of my one of my treasure time is reading a book. Okay, so I treasure moments I should read a book. I treasure moments I should listen to messages. So these are moments that I treasure. So I can convert my mandatory times into those things. So for instance, I'm commuting to a place. Those are mandatory time. So how do I convert that time to a treasure time? So I can be listening to a podcast as I'm either driving or commuting to the place. So I'm now converting my mandatory time to treasure time. So the key to empty time is to eliminate as much as. So now we take questions and then we end the session. We are supposed to have another session aside this one, which is the setting up a personal business portfolio. But I'm going to have to merge it into the subsequent presentation. So because tomorrow, two other presenters are going to take two other sessions. So two other presenters will take two other sessions tomorrow, which will be the social media marketing and then the forex trading introduction. And then on Saturday, we'll have a business development and growth. Then we'll handle a bit of banking, finance, and investment. So I'm supposed to take the productivity tools and tips for leaders and also setting up a personal business portfolio.
Well, that sounds like a really great schedule of upcoming events. Hi, Desiree. Eli here, coming in a bit late. But yeah, I really loved the parts I was hearing, just about using your calendar to really like structure your time and then to ask yourself hard questions about am I prioritizing the things that are most important to me, whether that be personal time like reading or which things of the work time are most important.
All right. Thank you so much, Eli.
So my question is, how do you do that prioritization? There's so many things in my calendar and my to-do list. How do I start identifying the ones that should get my attention first?
Okay, so like I mentioned in the previous slide, I would have to go back there and then better explain it to you. I personally use this a lot. So I use all the tools that I've indicated above. So I noticed that I just segment my time. At the beginning of the year, I do a time study, so I get to know my habits. So what are the things that I spend my time on? Then I know what to avoid and what to encourage. Then I use these four levels of time. The T be my treasure time, because I have a lot to do. I might not be able to get time to spend with family. So, but those are my treasure time. I might not get time for meditation. Those are my treasure time. So I still do a time study on that, so I can show my personal calendar to show you how that works, because I have a lot to do personally, and I have a lot to do as a business and then as a non-profit leader. So I have my treasure time, I have my investment time, I have my mandate time. So every day, beside my time study, on Mondays, let's say I wake up at 4 a.m. To 5 a.m. I have my 5 a.m. club routine, which I learned from Ruben Sharma in his book, The 5 a.m. Club. So where I take 20 minutes meditation, I do 20 minutes of exercise, and then 20 minutes of studying and research. So within 1 hour, I've done three things. So I've done my meditation, I've done a bit of research or learning something new, and then I've done a bit of non-rigorous exercise just to keep my body fit for the morning, because I might not have 2-3 hours to exercise unless over the weekend.
Yeah.
So the treasure time are the time that I hold so dear. My investment time are the things I spend with my community, the things I do that bring me money or that brings me return. And then mandatory times are the things that maybe I need to travel to a particular place to hold an event. I need to commute to a meeting. I have to do that to get my investment time utilized. But to make that effective, I listen to podcasts on the go.
Right.
That becomes a treasure time. So minimizing my mandatory time, or I can also outsource. Maybe a treasure time could be you going to the restaurant to eat, but I can actually get a food home and eat. I can use a delivery service. So I'm minimizing my mandatory time instead of spending too much time going to spend too much time at the restaurant. So I have at the end of the day, I now calculate when I do every assignment, maybe 4 to 6 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever I'm doing, I tag them with T, I, M, and E, with T being the treasure time, I being the investment time, M being the mandatory time, and E being the empty time. Then I calculate how many hours I spent on T, how many hours I spent on I, how many hours I spent on M, how many hours I spent on E. At the end of the week, I end up, okay, within the week, in my 24 hours, I spent just 4 hours, 30 minutes on my treasure time. I spent 8 hours or 9 hours on my investment time. I spend this particular number of hours on my mandatory time. Then I know that this is my personal habit. Then I take actions to control them,
Right.
to know what to minimize and what to bring to the top. That way, I begin to prioritize myself. So I'm going to share my personal calendar with you just to make it a bit practical.
Sure.
So I have memo cards that I normally use on a daily basis. So I take it, even though I use Trello, I use Notion, I use Calendly, which I technically picked from you. I wasn't used it before until I saw you using it for scheduling community meetings. Yeah, so I actually picked that tip from you.
I'm always stealing good ideas from other people as well.
Yeah, I picked it from you. So I'm going to open up my calendar and reshare the screen.
Great.
So within the whole year, I've already scheduled whatever I need to do on autopilot, aside things that will come up later. So maybe there are things that you do almost every day. So those are like habits. And I said that at the beginning, in the course of the lecture, focus on your goals, focus on the systems. So when you put the right systems in place, you can achieve your goals. So the
Yeah, no, I
systems.
strongly believe that it's always about process and the habits and the things you do over and over again.
Yeah. So that's one thing I learned from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. So I read a lot. So I pick a lot of things from the books I read. Yeah. So let me share my calendar now. Okay, so this is my calendar for 28. Every morning, sorry, before the next day, I take a memo, I write a date on it, which I don't put on my calendar. Mostly, it's at the end of the week that I fill in my calendar. Yeah, because I might not get time every morning to, because sometimes I might not have a very stable internet to use a Google Calendar. So I have a card, a memo card. I write every day the date, and then I write my to-dos on it. I write the hours I spend on it. At the end of in the next column, I write time based on what I categorize that particular activity into. Then I have another card I will now write T, 2 hours, 30 minutes. 8 hours, 45 minutes. So I'm very accountable that this is what I actually spent doing nothing. So sometimes I can work out to go get something and come back and realize I just spent 3 hours doing nothing. That's an empty time. But you might not know. So you have to say, where did my time go? So when you account for that, you know that actually you are using your 24 hours and then you know exactly where it is going. Yeah. So on Autopilot, this is my calendar. Let me go to the yes session. Sorry.
And sorry, just to let you know, I need to actually go to my next meeting in a minute. But yeah, this is super interesting. And I see that like you can have like a calendar for levels of time, so it can sort of be overlaid.
Yeah,
it looks like.
Yeah. So when I'm having a meeting with someone, I always make sure the person add the meeting to my calendar. So for instance, at the office, we had a meeting with the Stanford Seed. So we have a Stanford Seed project that my company is handling. So we have weekly meetings that have been booked from now to the end of the project. So it's a default weekly meetings 3 to 4 till the end of the project. I have my Bible study. So when you go to the next day, let's say 29th, I have Autopilot. I have my personal midnight prayer time. I have the time that I sleep, 5 a.m. Club routine where I meditate for 10 minutes. I read for 20 minutes. I learn something new for 20 minutes, and I do work out for 10 minutes. Then my morning devotion. Then this particular time is not booked yet. So based on what I need to do on that, I do them. But these times are things that I do every day. So every day it's that way. So when I go back to the previous month, you'll notice that I'd filled those. Okay, let me go to the months instead.
Yeah, sorry, I will need to leave now, but yeah, no, this is interesting to see how it's all being pieced out and then, as you say, prioritized with the cards. So yeah, I'm gonna head out. But Desiree, these are really great sessions. I really appreciate you leading these, and we can record them so we can keep sharing them with others, even if they weren't able to attend today.
All right, thank you so much, Eli.
All right, see ya, and see ya, Siri.
All right. Okay, so I would love to continue with a second session, but I need to jump to another meeting, so I would have to end here. Then we'll get back tomorrow.